fascinated by this, what do you do when you want to phase a guy out conversation, because Warriors fans who wanted Klay to come off the bench, this is kind of what we're talking about with Brandon Crawford.
It's a great comp. Yeah. It's a great comp because how many people, they're disrespectful.
Yeah.
I remember Draymond in the King series. He's not going to come back here and come off the bench. It's disrespectful.
Don't be disrespectful.
And then Draymond's like, so I had this idea. I'll come off the bench. I think that people tend to be, yes, huge egos, but the athletes themselves, they tend to be a little bit more self-aware usually than we give them credit for. Klay's in a different case. Klay Thompson, I think, to his detriment, and the Warriors this year, still thinks that maybe it's in there, that elite type of a player. But I also think Klay's got a lot left. I don't know that Brandon actually has a lot left. Brandon Crawford is probably in his retirement year. Agreed?
Agreed.
This is the end of his contract. He's 36. He's batting .170. Schmidt is here. Like, he wants to retire a Giant. This is probably the last two-thirds of a season for Brandon Crawford.
I will agree with that.
Okay.
But the one piece that I think aligns with Klay Thompson, Brandon Crawford has played in 1,553 games. He started 1,469 of those games, which means 84 times he has not started and either come in for defense or pinch hit, and he has never, ever, ever played anywhere on defense other than shortstop.
He was about to, though.
He was.
He was willingly about to, and that's part of my point.
But he still hasn't.
He hasn't.
So now we're at a point where the dude's batting .170, and you have a better option at short. So do you want him to come off the bench and or maybe play a different position? That's kind of where we are with Brandon Crawford, and are we there with Klay Thompson?
The lucky point for him is that the guy who is now better than him at his position can also play the other positions.
That's true.
Right? So Schmidt can rove and give all three of the guys a day off and sort of hide in what's actually an everyday player. Schmidt is going to be an everyday player the rest of the way, but he won't be a shortstop in all of those games. Brandon is still your next best shortstop. He's better than Estrada is over at short. So I think there's plenty of a role. But it's interesting when Guru says he's earned that he's the starter the rest of the year. I don't fully agree with that at all. I understand there's somewhere in between he's earned the rest of the games and disrespecting him because you're just showing him the door. Somewhere in between is where I would sit. Brandon's got a role. He's got to roll on the field. He's got to roll off the field.
He's the DJ in the clubhouse, right?
Thank you. Yeah. He's the DJ BC Raw. Boy, who's going to replace that next year? Yeah, I hope they're holding interviews for that right now.
Yeah, it'd be tough. Probably Casey Schmidt would have to.
I don't know if he's a music guy. We haven't talked to him yet. We'll get him. Raji in Walnut Creek, 888-957-9570. Hey, Raji, what are you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
We're hanging, doing a radio show.
Cool. So I just want to talk a little bit about how, the Lakers held on to Kobe for way too long, gave him a huge contract, and then kind of just ruined him for, a few years after that. And then it took, somebody like LeBron and AD to come to save him, and I don't want that to happen with the Giants. So, yeah, that's my take.
Well, but what does that mean at this time? Brandon is only signed through the end of this year. I don't think that right now he's certainly not putting, with his numbers, any pressure on the organization to do anything beyond this year. You know, Raji?
Yeah, I got you. But at the same time, it's I think he was willing to switch to third base because he knew that he was kind of declining in his game. And for him to be, like you said, they're pretty self-aware, right? So for him to be willing to switch to third base just means a lot, right?
It does, except for Raji, thanks. He was willing to switch to third because he didn't have a choice. If an organization, whoever you work for, okay, if they spend $350 million on your replacement, there's not like there's a conversation to be had. And
that's why I'm over in this chair, quite frankly. I mean, hello.
Right? How would that go, boss? Listen, I
know you're giving Willie $350
$350 million. I know. I know. But he's going to be here for 12 more years after I go. Could I play short this year?
Hello?
Yeah, no. No, you can't. You can't. I'm sorry.
You're playing third, Dibs. Sorry about that.
That's right.
Although the only time I got to play third, I got thrown out of a baseball game because my dad let me play third, and I have no arm. So it was kind of like a nod to me as a 15-year-old. So I go over and I start to play third, and my brother Mike, the assistant coach, says, No, Danny. You go out and play right field. I said, Dad said I could play third. He said, go to right. And I said, friend to you. And the ump said, excuse me?
No.
You're out of here.
How old were you?
15. So I had to watch the remainder of the game from beyond the fence at Casa Grande High School.
You were cut from this cloth from the beginning, weren't you?
I'm the youngest of 4. Dad said I could play third.
Dad said I could play third.
Dude.
I won't mention any names. I wonder if anybody from the team is listening. Listen, going to the Little League playoffs last week.
Okay.
And with our new 2 to 6 time slot, I miss half the games.
It's a shame.
Because they start at 5 or 5:30, and I get there before they're over. But I gave the other coaches one word to the wise as we get to the playoffs. So here's the deal. Here's the lineup. Guard this with your life. Do not let any of the kids see the lineup, because if they see, in the 5th inning I'm pitching, or in the 6th inning I'm the shortstop.
Because you do defensive lineups and offensive lineups in Little League.
Right, and then if you have to make a change, if you got to adjust on the fly, some kid can't hit the strike zone, another kid's crying, whatever the hell's going on, you got to make changes. You got to keep your flexibility, your financial flexibility.
Thank you.
Keep it. Boy, we had a game a few weeks ago where a kid thought he was going to pitch, and then another kid was just firing in the 5th inning, and he crushed it. And we go up by 1, and he goes, I think we got to stick with the other kid because he's
Timmy's dealing.
He's dealing. We got to stick with him. The kid that got never ended up getting the chance to go pitch.
Logan never got to throw.
Ended up in the car. I mean,
Front seat or back?
I didn't look.
Booster seat, no doubt. Sippy cup.
I'm like,
that's tough.
Be better at your job.
Yeah. So if you see Brandon Crawford in the players' parking lot,
crying
in the car in the 9th inning,
sobbing,
I was supposed to play shortstop in the 9th. Why does Casey get the spot?
Dad said I could play short. No, Brandon. It's Casey's time.
It's so sad, but
it is.
It's also kind of funny. 2 days later.
But no, you're right. Guard that with your life because it becomes an expectation. Sensation is what it is. When I'm going to pitch in the 5th, and then no, you're not.
No, you're not.
I want winners. But I do think that you're right about Brandon Crawford's last contract. Brandon Belt signed a 1-year deal with Toronto for $9.3 million, and I would imagine that's his last deal. He's a year younger than Brandon Crawford.
Yeah.
And Brandon Belt, it's a battle of the Brandons right now.
His body, as many injuries as Crawford has been through, Belt's been through more. I mean, that was the question, even whether he would get a deal, because we didn't even know if he wanted to play, if his body was going to let him play. And it has. He strikes out a lot for Toronto.
Yeah.
A lot.
Hitting 264,
but he's hitting 264. Yeah. What's the OPS? Do you have the numbers?
The OPS is 771. Not awful. Yeah.
Very respectable.
800 and north is good.
800 is very good. Yeah. North of 750 is very passable. Very.
Brandon Belt.
Yes, Brandon Belt.
49 punchies and 110 ABs.
Well, that's quite a bit.
It's the 3 true outcomes is what it is.
Quite a bit. How many dongs?
He got 2.
Okay. All right.
Fewer than Craw. Craw's got 4, I think.
Yeah. Craw still gets into one every now and again. So, anyway, I just think this whole thing, I think that they're ready to handle it better than we realize. We immediately put thoughts in these guys' heads they will not accept that kind of a role. Yeah, they will. And Brandon, from everything I've heard, I think this is important to note too, because Brandon is going to go out with all of those labels that a fan favorite does. He is forever giant. He is. I don't. Do you want to call him a legend? Is he a statue guy? I don't know.
No,
probably not. No. I mean,
we throw that around too willy-nilly.
We do.
And it's, Bonte was talking about Draymond as a statue guy. You don't. Draymond's not a statue guy, in my opinion.
I disagree with that.
If you want to talk in this, I'll do this quickly because I've done this before. There are levels to this, as we like to say. Level number 1 is geography. McCovey Cove, Willie Mays Plaza. If you actually get terra firma, you get parts of Earth named after you. That is top line.
Okay.
The next line is statue. Willie McCovey has a statue. Willie Mays also has a statue. Then you get down to retired numbers. And that's where I think Draymond Green, Klay Thompson will both reside. Steph Curry is in the statue realm. Steph Curry is in the body of water realm. You could call Thrive City,
Curry Cove,
the Curry Plaza, whatever you want to do.
Yep.
Steph Curry's at that level. I don't think that Draymond Green is at the statue level.
Well,
and if you think about it in terms of the Giants' great run, the Giants' dynasty, none of them are at statue level.
Posey.
I'll give you Posey. Posey would be the only one in the squad.
Yeah, here's
Buster Huggs. You can run up to the statue and hug the statue.
Like I guess the issue for Crawford is how many statues would have to go up for him to get one. Because
11.
Bumgarner would be next after Posey. If we're talking, Boch.
Kaner.
Boch.
Timmy.
Yeah. I think that's where Crawford starts to come into that realm.
Scooter with a rain feature above him.
Right. Hunter Pence giving a speech.
Right.
Ryan Terrio in an outfit. I don't know. You know what I mean? Joaquin Arias. I'm kidding.
Hunter Strickland.
Right.
Yelling that's a reach. Totally.
I don't.
We throw around statue too freely.
The Draymond thing, though, there's no escaping that Steph, Klay, and Dre are all attached to one another.
Sure.
So there absolutely could be a statue of all three of them together.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I don't believe that there will be.
Well, I don't get to. I mean, whatever. Like
I know. And I only parse this out because I do think that there are levels to this.
They're all Hall of Famers. Brandon's not going to be a baseball Hall of Famer.
No one will ever wear 23 for the Golden State Warriors again after Draymond Green wears it. That I believe. 11, we're good on 11. No one's wearing 30.
You want to retire? Brandon's 35?
No.
Is he 35?
35.
35.
He's actually 36 years old, but he wears 35.
Yeah, the fact that I know that suggests how good he is.
Richie wore 35.
That's
Richie
right.
Aurelia.
Right.
35's not getting retired. Is 55 retired?
Well, look.
Or is 55 getting retired, Timmy?
Probably not.
Is Mad Bum's number 40 getting retired?
I don't know.
See, these are all numbers that get retired before Brandon Crawford.
Yeah.
Now, Buster's 28.
28.
No one's going to wear 28 again.
Correct.
They will retire 28.
Buster should have a statue. Okay. Buster should be a Hall of Famer and will be.
Well, that is a whole separate debate.
This is Rookie of the Year. This is MVP.
Sure.
This is homegrown 3 championships.
What we've done to the Hall of Fame, especially when it comes to catchers, we've really watered down the requirements. So it used to be you had to hit hallmarks. Buster Posey doesn't hit any of the hallmarks. Now, what he does have is 3 titles. 500 home runs, you're in. 3,000 hits, you're in.
Yeah.
10 All-Stars, you're in.
Yeah, but
Buster Posey had a great career.
Right, but a lot of those are longevity awards, and I don't think that longevity...
Right, baseball loves longevity,
They do, but therefore there would be an inherent bias against catchers because playing 20 years in the bigs is a hell of a lot harder as a catcher than it is at any other position.
No doubt.
Right, so that's a bias that they would have to address, and I think they do. Like...
Yadier Molina's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, so's Buster.
Longevity.
Okay, but I mean...
Who had a better career, Yadier Molina or Buster Posey?
I'd have to look at numbers, but Buster is a bigger name, is more championships, higher level of awards. Yadier didn't have an MVP, right? Like Yadier didn't have a batting title. He doesn't have any of those things. Buster Posey's got
How many Gold
all
Gloves for Yachty?
Lots.
10?
Lots. Yachty have any... grand slams off that jerk pitcher for the Reds. What was his name? I can't even remember that guy's name.
9 Gold Gloves.
Latos. You ever whack one into the stands off of Latos in a big moment? Because that's worth a lot to me.
Remember when Latos threw that ball through Dave Fleming's sunroof? Such a great story.
That's the best.
Yachty, by the way, with 9 Gold Gloves.
Okay.
So high!
Yachty with 10 All-Star appearances.
How many does Buster have?
Of those same?
Yeah, was up for All-Stars.
Gold Gloves, he doesn't have 10 because Yachty won them all.
Right.
And let me put that up for you.
How many
because
All-Stars for Buster?
Buster's All-Stars, I would guess 5.
Feels about right. What do you
1,
got?
2. I got 6 for Buster.
6. Okay.
6 All-Stars. He's a Roy and an MVP.
Yep.
And Silver Slugger 4 times, which is something. And he had the 1 Gold Glove.
And
Yachty must have been sick that day.
And 3 championships.
That's fine. It's a team award.
It's fine. It's a team award.
7 All-Stars, actually.
7. Not 6. 7.
Yeah, it's interesting though in terms of
this is always the Hall of Fame conversations I have because you know me, I couldn't give a rip. I think let them all in. I think Ryan Theriot should be in.
Stop it with
amazing,
that.
Amazing. You made the big leagues. That's incredible. Go to the Hall of Fame. I couldn't give a rip. Here's what I talk about.
It's great sports talk debate.
But I talk about what is going to happen. So forget what I think because I think everybody should get in. You're all amazing. Bravo. Great job, Anthony Lamb. You made the NBA.
Hall of Fame would be like
You're
an
incredible.
Amazon warehouse. I think it'd be huge. Seriously.
Just let it go.
That's called baseball reference or the baseball almanac.
Totally fine. Well, that other year when they came up with that stat where they were approaching the 2,000th person to play in the bigs, I'm like, what? The bigs have been around for how long? And we're 2,000 humans.
That's it?
That's it. That if ever
I can't be right.
That was totally right. 2,000 that have played like a day. Cup of coffee.
Moonlight Graham.
Connor Joe. Like
he's still playing.
I know. He's actually pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's incredible to me. So, yeah, put all 2,000 of them in. I can give a rip. But I usually talk about what I think will happen.
Right.
So when people go, Phillip Rivers is not a Hall. Yeah, he is. You don't have to like it, but Phillip's getting in. He's got the numbers. Buster Posey's getting in.
Well, he doesn't have the numbers, which is interesting.
Well, but it's not just...
Yachty's got 668 more hits than Buster Posey.
He played a lot longer.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Durability. And baseball loves durability.
Well...
And again, I'm not trying to hate on Buster Posey. I think that he's going to get in.
Buster adopting a child in the middle of a pandemic and taking a season and a half off, to me, is not a durability issue.
I mean...
right?
We ripped Kawhi for missing 74 games. Why don't we rip this guy?
Okay.
And his twins, right? Didn't he adopt twins?
Yes. Yeah. That's good knowledge.